più tra i farfalloni amoroso, notte e giorno di torno girano, delle belle turbando al riposo, Narcisetto Gino d'amor, delle belle turbando al riposo.
Hey everyone, this is Jeannie. Welcome to my channel. This is a video on how I make my chicken pot pie. And the first thing I did was went to the store as usual, got some chicken thighs. I use thighs and I just boil them in a little water until they're done. I put salt and pepper in here and whatever seasoning I feel like. So I put salt and pepper. I use some seasoned salt. I'll probably put in a little bit of parsley. I know a lot of people put in their vegetables while it's cooking and boiling, which is fine. Sometimes I do. It just depends on my mood. So what I'll do is just let this come to a boil and cook it, simmer it, let the chicken get well done. And I like to use thighs, chicken thighs, because you really do avoid the bones. I prefer dark meat to white meat, and it just to me tastes a lot better than white meat. So this is how I begin my chicken pot pie. While my chicken is boiling, I'm going to have a cup of coffee. So while the chicken is cooking, I went ahead and cut up 2 stalks of celery and about a little under a half a red onion. You can use yellow, you can use the red onions. I just happen to have plenty of these red onions on hand, and I like the mild flavor. And then I had some peas frozen, so I'm putting these in a bowl, and I cut up some fresh carrots, and these I'm going to put in separately. So in a few minutes I will begin the gravy process with my celery and onion and get the gravy going. I'll show you how I do that, and after that is finished, that's when I add my carrots and peas and the chicken meat. Meanwhile, I went ahead and just used some pie crusts that I got at the store a few weeks ago and sprayed my pie pan and put the first pie crust in here. It comes with 2. So I sprayed the pan with olive oil and put it in here, and you can see it's cracked a little bit, but that's okay. Nobody will even know it's cracked. Just don't say anything. I have made in the past my own pie crust, which my husband likes a lot. He loves it. I use a lot of shortening, and it's a real simple recipe. I think 3 ingredients. Just 3 ingredients. But it takes a long time, and it really, really messes up my kitchen. So sometimes it's just easier to buy it. And I'll be back with the rest of the way I prepare chicken pot pie. Okay, so now what I'm doing is I put my onions and celery in a pan with a little bit of olive oil. And I'll turn it down and just let them saute a little bit. And also what I did, I took my chicken out of the pan to let them cool because I have to take all the meat off. And then with my little sieve, I poured all of the broth into a pan because what I need is skimmed off broth. I need, I need 1.5 cups of broth, and then I need 2/3 of a cup of milk, because that's how I'm going to make the broth. I need the gravy for it. And then I keep a little container of flour up in my pantry so that I don't have to just lug out the big container of flour. When I'm cooking, I sometimes need maybe 2 tablespoons. So, and I'll put the amount down below. I'll put the recipe down below. So right now I'm just going to let these saute and get soft. And then these are still pretty hot, so I'm going to wait until these are really cool and put them in a dish. And when I do add the flour, milk, and broth, you have to just kind of wing it. I'll put a little bit of broth in here and stir it, and then I'll add a little bit of the milk and stir it, and then I'll add a little bit of the flour and just keep it all stirred up. And then I'll add a little bit by bit, I'll just add a little bit of broth and then a little bit of milk, and eventually you'll get a nice creamy gravy. And once I do that, I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, but this is going to take about probably 10 minutes because I don't want burnt celery and onion. I want it to be soft and just sauteed. So it'll take about 10 minutes. Okay, and I'll be right back. I'm going to try to do this with one hand. You need 1/3 cup of flour. Sprinkle it in, and you have to, the trick to making good gravy is by constantly stirring it. Then I'm going to put in a little bit of broth. It's hot. And a little bit of the milk. Just a dollop. Until it starts. I have to keep adjusting the heat just until it starts bubbling, and then you keep adding more and more. These are my 3 ingredients, and I've already started cutting up my chicken. I've done all the dishes as I go along. I'm going to preheat the oven now to 350. I'm using a T-Fall pan, F-A-L. Kind of like it. A little bit of broth. Let it come to a boil. It slowly becomes thicker. Smells really good. I put a little salt and pepper in this, little seasoning salt, really no more seasonings than that. I guess our family likes bland foods. My husband likes hot and spicy tacos and all that, but for the most part I don't. I like bland, pablum type food. And this is just perfect. So I don't see any lumps, so I'm going to be a little bit more generous in my pouring. This is actually how you make gravy for your Thanksgiving dinner. You just add a little flour and milk and broth, any other seasonings that you want. This is the base for the chicken pot pie. And if you don't feel like you need any more, you don't have to add all of the flour. Do what you think is right. Add a little bit more. I don't think I'm going to add all of it though. You just, when you cook, you just go by your feeling. Go by the texture, the consistency, the the flavor. You be the master of your kitchen. And if the recipe calls for something you don't like, you can substitute it. You can put in something different. It's your kitchen. So I'm going to let this get all nice and thick. And then after it's bubbling one more time, I'm going to put some more of this broth in because that really adds flavor, and just a teeny bit more flour. That come to a boil. Then, when this is all boiled and nice and thick, I'm going to add my carrots and peas, and I'll let that get nice and soft in this gravy. I'll turn it down to simmer. See, there's some lumps. You don't want lumps. And by that time, my chicken will be all cut up, kitchen clean. I preheated the oven, and I'll show you what it looks like when right before it goes into the oven. Get rid of those lumps. Ugh. Gold lumps. I got carried away, but they'll disappear when I keep stirring. So this is what it looks like with the gravy and the chicken and all the vegetables, and I'm going to pour it into my pie pan right now. So this is what it looks like now that it's all put together. And I just took my fork and went all the way around it and pressed it so it would be kind of pretty, and then I poked it, let the steam escape. And that's all there is to it. I'm going to put it in my oven for about 45 minutes till it's brown. And that is my chicken pot pie. Thanks for watching, everyone. Put it in there. Let's see if I can do it with one hand. So there we go. Talk to you later, everyone. And there's the finished product. My chicken pot pie. I'm not going to cut it right now because I'm going to let it settle a little bit. So come on over for dinner.